Good evening, everyone. We're going to open meeting of the Planning Board, the March 14th meeting of the Lakeville Planning Board. It's close enough to 7:30. I have to ask if anyone else is recording this meeting. Lake Cam is recording this meeting. For everyone's benefit, we have a public hearing continuation from Nature's Remedy of Massachusetts. They have a facility on 310 Kenneth Welch Drive. It's a request for a special permit, which we voted. We approved a special permit at our last meeting, but there were conditions that were being drafted. They were agreed, but they were being drafted by our town council. Those are for our benefit. Well, actually, for the benefit of the camera, there were 8 conditions added. They were pretty standard, directly from our bylaw. The use is not noxious, etc. Nature's Remedy is seeking a Tier 4 license from the Cannabis Control Commission, and this is for 20,000 to 30,000 square feet of canopy of growing stuff. And a state-approved line of edibles, oils, stuff. The advantages. The board we made a finding that the proposed project, use marijuana, is allowed in the industrial district by special permit, and therefore the board has determined that the use is most compatible with the character of the industrial district and no reasonable alternatives available to accomplish its purpose. That's some of the conditions that were added were they have to make sure that any of the permit bills are paid before they pick this up. This now goes to the if we approve these additional conditions, this will go to the town clerk, and it stays up there for 14 days?
20 days.
20 days. For 20 days, it sits with the town clerk, where anyone in the state has the opportunity to go in and object. In writing, this is the whole process in writing and stuff like that. But it'll go in for its review period, so to speak, and then they can pick it up. Then they have to file it with the registry because it's a regular special permit, and they have to take it to the Marijuana Control Commission and get their last permit. So you can't expect to see anything growing or anything like that. This still goes back into the system, but we'll be through with this phase of it. This gives them a chance to get something. When the state allows it, this will give them a chance to start growing the stuff. This gets them. They still haven't a permit to sell it, nor does anyone else in town. But they will have an opportunity to start growing their first crop. Shall provide annual. Yeah, this is. The conditions are mostly that you have to do all the rest of the permits with all the rest of the people. It's not transferable. They're not allowed to use it on the property or anything like that, or sell it or anything like that. This is just for growing it, and all these conditions basically say that. Does anyone object to any of them?
No, I read them.
And they're consistent with what we discussed about it last meeting.
Yeah. This is informal. This is formalizing the discussion of last meeting. Yes.
So if someone's interested in this, they can go to the town clerk within the next 20 days and put appeal in if they don't agree with this. They can appeal it.
Correct.
That's where it stands.
That's, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could use a motion to approve the draft, the draft conditions to last week's permit.
So moved.
A second. Oh,
Nope, I'm just going to make a comment. If there was anything happening here other than growing, I would have concerns for conditions based on traffic. However, we're not expecting that to be an issue. Therefore, I think this is fine, and I would vote in favor of the motion that's before us.
Okay, so in favor?
Aye.
I agree.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, none, so you can record 4-0. Needed for a special permit. At that point, we need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
In
Aye.
favor?
I'm in favor.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, the next item is Setauket Trail. This is, shall I introduce it?
I'm sorry, what's
Here,
it?
can I introduce it?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
No, this was one from, that Peter and I remember. This was,
Well, Janice was on the board too.
Yeah.
Was she?
Well, when he came back 4 years ago,
Yeah.
I was on board. Yeah, I wasn't initially,
no,
but I was in the building department.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yes.
No, this was this is a subdivision off Highland, and it got paved. It got paved without an inspection accidentally.
The top coat.
Just the top coat. It was only the top coat, and there wasn't any reason to think there was anything wrong with it, but the paperwork couldn't be filled out. So Mr. Barber, the developer, suggested that we let the thing sit for an additional actually,
For
it was 4 years.
instead of 2, the board
Because
agreed for 4.
surely anything, we knew the tonnage was there because we had all the
Right.
slips. There certainly was enough asphalt had been consumed.
And I'd just add one thing.
Yeah.
The amount of asphalt also, when the calculations were done, came out to almost 1 3/4 inches thick. And the specification was for 1.5.
Right.
So it was actually a little bit heavier than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So,
And nothing has gone wrong with it yet. We have to check it. And as part of the process now for accepting the road, we do have to get Nick to go out and look at it. Or figure some other way of doing it. I imagine Nick uses a testing company here in Taunton. What's the, you remember the name?
No, I don't.
I'm sorry?
Rita did speak to me about this, and she does have an engineer that is looking at that, so hopefully they will have a response from him by your next meeting. But Rita has taken care of that, getting the engineer to
Okay.
review that.
Okay, is
So
that the peer
someone will be
review?
checking, pardon?
Is that the peer review that was
Yeah.
requested?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that required, or, I mean,
We
it used to
do-
be that the highway superintendent did the,
He used to, yeah.
but no longer?
No, we don't do that anymore.
Okay.
This is, actually, we do it like we used to do it. The last highway superintendent did that job in addition to doing the normal highway
Oh,
superintendent job.
Jeremy Peck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
both
what I
Peck-
remember, yeah.
Both Peck brothers did that job,
Okay.
but Roger before that didn't. And the one, the superintendent we have now,
He doesn't?
he doesn't,
Okay,
he can't.
okay. I didn't know that.
But it just, somebody was gonna have to do it anyway, along with the as-built. So, and you're gonna have an as-built,
I have it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, my engineer's not here tonight, I guess, because it was, I think everything's already pretty straightforward, that there's gonna be an inspection.
Right,
And so I guess he didn't tell me he wasn't gonna be here, but.
yeah.
So,
No, and it's fine that he's not here,
yeah.
we don't need him.
So nevertheless, I have the road bounds in, the as-bilt's done,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all set. Mhm.
Yeah, and it seems to be in enough time to get it onto the warrant for this spring's town
Okay.
meeting. So, and we don't usually have trouble with them. So,
I also noted that Mike O'Brien, our fire chief, went out and said it was sufficient.
Yes,
So we have a memo from
I
him
didn't mention
saying.
that, yeah. the new-
Okay.
I had the recommendation from the former fire chief, Dan Hopkins, I don't know if you remember that or not, but the new one also has
Yeah.
said that the road's okay, it's fine, the cul-de-sac, and, yeah. I don't have a copy, but I
I
know.
do, yeah,
okay,
we do.
yeah.
We have a copy from Mike.
It's right here.
Yeah, what, what's that?
It's dated February 22nd, 2019. Fire trucks will fit.
Because of- yes.
Okay, so it's not from today? It
Right,
was
right,
Kind of retroactive.
right.
And just as a point of clarification, as I
Yeah.
understand it, what that meant for you as the developer is that you are personally responsible for snow removal and all the
Yes.
things that went along with
Yes.
that. So 4 years was quite a long time.
Yes.
Um,
And that, we came to that conclusion, figuring that if there's any deficiencies in the
Mhm.
road, they would show up. But I also want to add too that I've had that road's been in place,
Mhm.
paved for almost 11 years. It's going on 11 years. And there's never been a single problem up there at all, nothing. Not with the road, not with drainage. And I also have the certificate of compliance. I just got that too. So,
I'm sorry, that took so long, that's a long time.
what, the 11 years?
The 4 years.
Yeah, well, 4
Yeah.
years,
It happens,
That's
but-
okay, it was my
Yeah.
fault. I had to
There were
take
other things that
responsibility.
Of course,
happened.
of
Yeah.
course. It's
So-
just,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Mhm.
So we're here now, so hopefully we'll just move
Yeah.
forward and get it straightened out.
wow, and the whole meets and bounds, we don't usually.
so we don't have to vote on that one, right?
Um,
We're still waiting on the peer review.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which seems like it will go fine. It seems like it will.
And hopefully,
Doesn't seem to look like there's any problems. Yeah.
shouldn't be,
Yep, yeah, we do have to wait.
So, do we, is this going to come back on our agenda after the peer review? We'll put
Yes.
it back on the agenda
Yep.
after that.
Hopefully, your next meeting,
Yeah.
the 28th.
So you might have to come one more time if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And you might
So-
you might not have to go
Yeah,
at all.
if it's all okay,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't think, you can call them if something, if there was any question. But I imagine there shouldn't be any,
hopefully not.
because there's funny steps that happen now with, we have to recommend to the selectmen that they accept the road, and
Right.
then they vote again to accept the road, and then it goes to the town and they.
They have to vote on it.
And they
Right,
vote
I
on
knew
it.
that,
And,
yeah.
actually, we introduce it at the town meeting, but nothing's ever controversial by that point. Once the as-bilt's.
Right.
in. Okay, thank you, Rum.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, if we don't do anything else here, I'm just gonna wait to hear, or
Right.
my engineer, or what?
Is
Because the engineer who's gonna do the inspection, he'll get back to my engineer, or how does that work?
I think he'll get back to, he'll send a report in. We need something in writing.
Oh,
So he'll send a report in and Kathy will get it.
Okay,
Will everyone be notified at that point for the next hearing if you wanted to be present?
Well, I think Zink he believes that it's going to be okay. So he's saying if it is okay and Kathy gets him the notification that he's okay, that he may not want to attend the meeting because there would be we wouldn't hold it up. If he were getting some kind of other messages or some other kind of results
We
from that.
certainly should call Ron
Yeah.
and tell him it went well, yeah.
And
But
then
there's
you
no
can
reason to
back
come
and-
back here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if
Okay.
this was a problem.
Nevertheless, either I or my engineer would probably be notified.
Right.
Okay.
And we have to, and we have to see the as-built.
Okay, so, but your peer
Or do we
review
have it?
engineer will supply that, or you want me to bring that in, or?
I'd imagine he requested, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think he's gonna, I probably can just email it to him, but eventually, you have to get the recording, the copy that you record, that's the clear one, right?
The Mylar, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that has to be brought in at some point.
The copy that you record.
Yeah, exactly, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that has to be brought in and we have to sign that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'm.
So we have to get the other, our peer review engineer has to look at your road, and he'll have a report, which will come to us, and you'll get us the as-built, which comes to us, and then we'll take the as-built and send it to the selectmen after we have it signed, and then they'll sign it,
Okay.
too.
Okay,
There's a,
that's new.
If you have any questions, just call, or I'm sure Kathy can keep you informed. She's really
Okay.
good at that, really good at communicating with the applicants.
You take Pauline's place?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
now she has,
Because
yes.
Yeah.
No, we're lucky that.
Very lucky.
Yeah, so I'm sure
Because
that.
she was with the ZBA for the last 18 years,
Oh,
so
okay.
the whole general,
Yeah. Very good.
So
All right,
I
well,
know
thank you very
I
much.
have this phone number if you
Okay.
need it. I have
Okay.
your number. She
Yeah.
needs it, okay?
All right, well, thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Is this the
okay. Now the next item we have is meet with Stenbeck and Taylor regarding A&R for Bonsall.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So the board had been kind enough to sign an A&R for us 2 weeks ago when we had a previous meeting. It came to our attention that we had made a mistake and we didn't have the requisite lot width of the front yard setback. So we changed it, we submitted a new plan to have the 175 at the front yard setback. And I reviewed the plan with the building inspector to make sure I didn't screw anything else up.
Okay. Okay, we talked about that.
Yes, sir.
But,
Yes. That next day, I went through it and realized it.
What's that right of way for? Do you happen to know?
It's for, the family has some land out back too. The remaining land runs out to the water course to the river, and they have another piece out there, so it's just a right way to go back and forth between family members. It's all farm land. And old bog land.
What did they do? So they slid this back?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
from the plan we looked at 2 weeks ago.
Which made it a little bit wider in the front.
Yeah.
Was it at an angle a little bit?
Yeah,
No, it's just
we'd
each-
gone all the way
yeah.
from 175 to tapered in the back,
Yeah.
instead of going 175 back to the front yard setback and then taper. Yeah.
And not just the way we do it in Lakeville.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty, other towns.
Every town's-
Perfectly reasonable to do it
Every
the other
town's
way.
different, but there was the next morning when we were going through it.
I think you need a motion to accept and approve the new A&R for Bond Street.
That sounded like a motion to,
I'll
Yep.
second it.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This one signed? Or do you have like a full
I
set?
have, yeah, no,
Oh,
I
okay.
have the Mylar and I need
There's a
5
Mylar.
other ones,
Okay.
so,
Oh, you want those?
yeah, all 5.
She needs yours.
Oh,
No,
Right,
your plan
that
counts
off,
as one.
oh. Okay. Okay, we'll pass them around as we're,
Yeah, after the meeting.
okay. And as we're passing, we only have one more item. We only have 2 more items. Well, 3. Johnson for comment only, Rustic Drive.
This is going in front of the ZBA. This is going in front of the ZBA. And I guess they're asking us for opinion.
Yeah.
This is, it's very inclusive of everything. They
Wow,
have a
I'll
very-
say, it's a
Yeah.
big packet for,
Yeah.
what are
This
they
is
doing?
one of the longest ones I've ever seen, actually.
That is a really, really small lot. I mean, it's a small lot anyway, but it's a small lot in Lakeville, really small. Our minimum lot sizes are 61,000 square feet.
70.
70.
70 for the, all
Okay,
the new ones.
70.
So if we're 70, that's 10 times, it's a tenth of the size.
This is raising the entire house and rebuilding it?
I don't want to comment on it because
Yeah.
I'm on the ZBA.
Right. Wow.
Just as a point of information, do we have other houses where we've had similar situations like this that have gone through ZBA? That's a very small lot.
It varies, and it varies on what they're able, what they have available to them. And so we kind of make it reasonable for the area, the neighborhood. If the other houses are like that, and the lots are like that. I didn't actually read it. Are they proposing to go up, or
I don't,
they're going up?
I believe so, yeah. I doubt they have something that looks like this right now, right?
No, I don't think so. So they're not probably taking up any more of the footage on the land. I'm not sure, I didn't look at the plan.
I'm-
But when you go up, it's a different story. Nobody has rights to, like neighbors really don't have rights to the air.
Yep.
So I don't know what, the neighbors will be notified. They will attend, and if they have some concerns. I think that area does have small lots, so.
There were summer cottages for
For a
years
long
and
time,
years.
yeah. Yeah. but I think the ZBA
I
kind of.
can't read the drawing. Can you?
Yeah, it's very, very, very small.
Oh, there's the
What do we-
existing house. Do you see the existing picture?
Yeah.
Okay. 360 square feet. Increasing to,
It's hard to say what the ZBA will say, different people have different opinions on it.
Right.
Or, yeah.
They did make a nice argument, I mean, their arguments.
well, I think I,
Is that
for
the-
for
is
one,
that-
don't have a comment. I don't know if they do, but
I don't have a comment.
7,500 square foot lot.
Well, 7.6 foot setback.
Mm-hmm.
What's existing though?
Oh,
You know, what is existing? I didn't look at it.
I
So,
can't,
are they
I can't
keeping-
tell from this
Are they
drawing.
keeping their setback? You don't know.
I
Oh, yeah,
can't
the
That might be already
setback.
pre-existing.
I'm sorry, I did see that someplace
Yeah.
here. Mhm.
I just haven't looked at it because
I
The
assume
setback
it
will
would
be
be,
the
because
same.
no one would propose,
So they've already
7.6 in lieu
established
of-
that
Well,
setback.
no, front yard setback is going to be less than a quarter of what's required. Lot frontage,
But what's existing
Oh,
now
what
that
is
they're taking
existing.
down, because that has established a setback
Right.
already. It's, we would consider that,
yeah, and I don't see that dimension.
no.
Board
I-
of Health,
I
the
would
Board of
ex-
Health looks at this? Or after?
Board of Health looks at it.
They haven't
After or
approved
before?
No,
septic.
before. Everybody gets a look at it
Mhm.
and gets, like we are, every board,
Yeah.
and they can comment if they'd like.
their septic design was approved in February.
Well, I think it's clearly a ZBA issue and just shouldn't, I wouldn't dare comment.
Yeah, I agree.
This area is commercially zoned? That's what it said in here.
No, no,
Well, part of the arguments say,
no.
I'm sorry, I read this.
This is completely residential.
That's what I thought, but I did read in here someplace. And this is on page 3 of 4 of the presentation, the brief in support of application for a special permit. And on page 3 of 4, item C, it says the premise is located in the business zone, and to replace it with a business use would not be consistent with the character of the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's being used as residential right now, and it gets to keep that use, as long as they want it like that. And to change it over to a business and.
Wouldn't make any
it wouldn't
sense.
fit the neighborhood, and like I said, the
But it
ZBA, no,
It's never a business.
no, exactly. So, I think maybe it is zoned, there's some weird places that are zoned business. I don't
That's
have
why
my
we're doing the
zoning-
cleanup project.
I don't know if I have
Right.
my CBA map, but there's some weird places that have business zones.
I have one.
I don't have my zoning map with me. But in this case, even if it is zone business, it would be hard to put a business there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So to keep it as residential, where it's established that way, I think is probably the best use anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And it would fit into the neighborhood better.
It's quite tall. You know, I'm not familiar off the top of my head with what the neighborhood looks like, but the design is quite tall. If the neighboring properties are small seasonal cottages that have been somewhat winterized or somewhat converted, it is a ZBA issue, but it is quite tall.
Do you know, Janice, if there's a house right here,
I didn't
on the
look at
corner?
this, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry, I should have gotten that.
Do you see the size of this? Existing grade. And so this is like, there's a home right here. I mean, they'll get their chance to talk it.
Yeah, the neighbors will be able to.
Yeah, I'm just,
And, you know, as a board, we really should go down and look at the
Mhm.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just saying.
Hey,
See what we feel. And like I said, if a neighbor comes in and says that it's blocking their view of something, that isn't really a good enough reason for us to say no if we feel like it's a good project. Because
no, but
views aren't protected.
Right, okay.
I mean, but we could say we don't like it. But actually, the ZBA has a broad.
I'd rather leave it up to the ZBA to handle it completely.
I do have concerns.
I agree.
I agree too, but I just want to, I do think that there is a.
You can
This is just
say-
getting-
Yeah, I'm just concerned
Yeah.
with, you know, when you have a community that has sort of one, for lack of a better word, a vibe to it, like it's got sort of some consistency in the design and format, and then you do a significant improvement, what impact does that have? I don't know. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
I have seen it allowed.
Mhm.
Is it down in Nelson Shore? Kathy, do you remember that? The three-story house we allowed with all the,
I do.
yeah.
Yellow one?
I don't remember what color it is. You know, it was kind of a large, tall.
Neighbor on the other side complained
Yep.
in court.
But that neighborhood, that area over there has a lot of houses that are, I mean, that property may be high or whatever, but for that location, but it isn't inconsistent with with all the other houses around it.
It was a little bit different.
It's designed different, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit different.
And high.
But there's some things that you can do and some things you can't do. I mean, we can't say just because it blocks a view and the neighbor doesn't like it, they can't do it. We have to consider everything, what the rights, you know, everything.
And my concern would be how does this impact all the other development that's gonna go up there? If every other neighbor, because every other neighbor has the same rights, we approve it for one. And I would imagine if they provide the same things, then they should be able to do the same things with their
That's right.
properties. So, is this.
Although you don't set precedents, but that's right, we would probably.
We probably
yeah,
lean
yeah.
towards that, just to be fair.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar enough with the septic systems to understand.
well, they have new water pipes now, so that's driving all of this.
Okay.
They're bringing in water, clean water.
Oh, they are?
You don't need wells.
That I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's got a proposed well on here, but they're gonna use water?
I don't know, but
Oh.
that's a reason why you're going to see an awful lot of
But they have their.
dramatic upgrades.
Okay, that's what it is. So are they putting in a water tower for that community?
I
Is
don't
this
know
Clark
that they
Shores?
need a
This is
water
Clark
tower,
Shores, is
but
it?
they,
No,
they're.
this is not Clock Shores.
No,
This is not?
I don't believe so.
I didn't think so.
I don't have
This
the
is-
map,
this
and
is-
I really didn't do my homework on that.
Well,
one
here's,
because-
this looks to me to be, I believe this is Loon Pond?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so this is the backside
Yeah,
of,
it's Loon Pond.
this is a really concentrated area. There is one very large house that I'm familiar with that's in this size
So
range.
this is right here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
over there. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's
right
not Clark Shores that you're thinking of. There's no
Oh.
water treatment plant going there.
No, if you drive back there, though, it would be a very different thing if every house were built to this level.
Well, I said, Bob, if you wanted to comment, but the ZBA would be glad to listen to your comment.
Yeah, I'm just speaking here
Yeah, well-
with the crowd.
Okay, do we as a board want to comment?
No.
I don't, because I'm on the board.
No.
I don't.
No.
Okay, the board.
Motion?
Motion
Motion to
to
not comment.
Not comment.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
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 We all agreed. Okay. February 7th meeting minutes, I read them.
I read them as well. Motion to approve.
I wasn't at the meeting, can I
I'll
still vote? No.
Second.
Okay, in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
You abstain?
No, you do.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you do too.
No, no. No, I was, my name's all over it. I outdid myself that meeting.
You always give it 110%.
Well,
Yes, you do.
that one was a labor of love. Next meeting, the 28th. At the 28th, there's some homework you have to do before then. People are going to come in, there's going to be a neighborhood of Fuller Shores folks that are going to,
I think if you want to go to number 8, I stuck something in for you,
okay.
so just flip to it. And
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it was, because it was a lot.
Yeah.
So under new business.
Which is,
On the 28th meeting, she's telling you what this board will probably be looking at.
Yeah, so I put that down.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think
and I
that's
was doing it
great-
from memory.
I know, so-
It's
Wow.
great, yeah.
Thank you for doing
Yeah.
Oh, this is way better than my memory, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Zink, I want to just remind you that both neither Janice nor myself will be here at that meeting on the 28th, so it'll be the three of you. Is that sufficient, or do we need to make a...
That is sufficient.
Okay.
We have we have to have 3 votes out of the 5 for any A and R and for any Form B or Form C subdivision.
Okay.
We need 4 for a special permit.
Which
So,
we have.
so,
Yeah.
so we can have a meeting for anything but a special permit with 3 of us here.
Okay.
Coordinate between planning board and fire department. I love that. I mean,
Yeah, this is
Mhm.
great.
Absolutely.
yeah,
I think that's gonna work out really well for this board.
Yeah.
So you can see what you're coming up to, you know,
Yeah.
it's on the
Oh,
next
yeah,
one.
that's so
Yeah.
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
The second one, Paul Turner.
Did you go to that?
I did,
Oh.
but this is a different Paul Turner issue. This is an issue
Oh.
back on Ledgewood Estates.
Right.
But it's only, he's adding a garage. One of his people that he sold a house to and built a house for wants to add a garage, and he has to add a curb cut.
Really? Oh.
But the curb cut is onto our road. I mean, it hasn't been accepted yet.
He's
So
putting
it's
a
still
curb
our-
cut on Pierce Ave?
No, no,
Oh.
he's putting a curb cut on
Oh,
a
so he
subdivision
just
road.
needs to modify it, right, before it goes?
Right.
Okay.
And so we have so he has to come back to us because it's not a town road yet.
Oh, all right.
If it was a town road, he'd be going to the selectmen.
Yeah.
But this would be a minor thing.
Uh-huh.
I think we have $100, I think it's like $100 bill or something like that.
Minor modification.
If we charge it. you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, because we haven't got the as-built yet. So there's nothing that has to be,
Changed.
you know, you don't have to go back to the
Right.
registry or anything like that. We just need the as-built to reflect that change.
Zink and I both attended the walk through the Paul Turner's news.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think is DP, what was it? No, it's the state. They seem to be favorable. They seem to,
DHC,
they liked
yeah.
it, yeah. They
Housing
liked
and
it, yeah.
housing.
How many units is it gonna be?
Is it 8? 8 maybe? 8 or 10? 12?
Affordable.
12.
I thought it was
12.
10, and
12.
there's a couple affordable.
Yeah,
or
it's
3
12,
affordable.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
It's
not
a
relatively small,
cul-de-sac
huh?
with 12, yeah,
And
that's
it's
right.
it's a nice looking thing.
It is a
And
nice looking house.
that part of the lot
How do you
fits
get
in
to it, Rhode
perfectly.
Island Road?
Off of Rhode Island Road.
Okay.
Right across from.
That'll be the part that you hate,
Hospital site.
because
It's the back.
Rhode
of
Island
hospital
Road
site.
doesn't really-
You know where Derek.
the roads that come into Rhode Island Road are dangerous already.
2
Yeah.
lots next to that.
I
But there
use
is a
them
lot
all, and they're-
between, where he's developing that, and there's a lot, a buffer like between.
Them at CVS.
No, going the other way, Rush
Oh.
Pond, because those residents tend to not want anything near there.
Those
Which-
residents know all about this,
Yeah,
and they're
They're
cool.
okay?
Yeah,
okay, good. Because that's a potential, always.
yeah. No,
And I
this
don't
is,
blame them, you gotta look at whatever's going in your
This is
backyard.
so,
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Is there,
this is so much different than putting 400 tractor trailers, refrigerated tractor trailers back there.
right.
They're perfectly happy.
Was there, do you recollect, was there a DEP concern over there?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There is, and it's still, that's still in the, Paul Turner had to, I believe, get some sort of clearance before he was able to buy the lots. And I think they still have some supervision over that.
That
Are
can't
these gonna
affect
have water?
financeability, I'm just saying it out
These gonna
loud.
have water, town water, or are
No,
these gonna have?
These have town water.
They do have all water, right? Okay.
They have town
Not
water.
wells.
Right.
Gotcha.
But there are
And
certain-
it's Taunton water.
There are certain loan programs that will not lend on a product like that, where you have within proximity.
Well, that's a
That's
very.
not our problem, but
Well, but
it's
it's,
food for thought.
they're aware of it, and in fact, I mentioned it during the walkthrough, in case people forgot. The drainage issue from Fuller Shores is a very old one. Well, it's not very old. This is probably a new bunch of people that will come in, but the drainage issue started with the original developer of the original Fuller Shores, Danny Stryer.
Before they come in here, has the superintendent of streets been there, and does he know what it's doing? You know what I mean? So he can
I'll
sort of
mention it.
like work on a plan as well, or if there is a plan to be made.
Is it an erosion issue?
No,
Do we-
no, it's it's an issue, it's
It's a water issue, or
Just
where the
flooding?
Runoff, right?
It's flooding when it freezes. But when it freezes, the water can't get through the ditch or into the ditch to run off. And then when it does get to where it's supposed to run off, what happened, they had, I believe they had this issue
Prior to
for the last 30
cockroaches.
years.
Yeah.
And they had a pretty elaborate system of a drainage ditch that runs parallel to Fuller Shore, that runs underneath all their driveways. And it's kind of clogged, and there's
That's it.
lakes in their front yards, and then now we put this in one more driveway basically across it. But it's only one more driveway, and it's at the top of the hill, and
That's enough.
it,
So Zink, just out of curiosity, on lots like this, so that's a public road?
no.
No, that's not,
This
that's
is a private road off of a private road. The town has no responsibility in it, whatever.
Okay.
And
We saw this is Justine,
I saw it today and I saw it 3 days ago. I wanted to see as it was thawing out, to see how it changed. And you didn't have to look at the problem, you could hear the problem. The water was running so hard. And it's running underneath everyone's. I don't know how they put up with it,
There's a
but they're
small.
gonna have to come up with the money.
There's a very small group of lots on a new street, not on a new street, excuse me, 4 new lots on a street near my house that are going in, School Street, and
River on everyone.
we weren't able to, at the time, when they came forward for for the lot review, to specify that each one of them would need a culvert underneath their driveway. Would you agree?
Yeah.
They
But-
need them,
but
but I
now
think
what
that ship
happened-
has sailed.
So they did that on this particular road. But what
But
you have to do is you
maintain
have to maintain them.
And they have to be good size, like sometimes, if you
And-
have 10 different people, they'll put in 10 different sizes. You know, they have to like increase as they go down, they can't go smaller.
And this is at the very top of the hill is all the flooding. At the bottom of the hill, it's not. doesn't,
It could be exactly what you're saying. It
Right.
could be that they were installed backwards.
Well, you know, if people are left to putting it in themselves or their driveway guy, he may have a certain idea of what it should be, but it may not, he may not be there when when he truly gets a grasp of how much water he's trying to deal with, you know?
yeah.
He might be like, oh, they asked for a pipe, I put a pipe in, and it's, you know, it's not big enough.
Right.
And the other thing, you know, as you said, when it went through here, well, it didn't exactly, coming through here as a Form A doesn't mean anything. We can't review it, and we're not allowed to attach conditions to it. We're not allowed to
Well,
attach a condition to it
On a Form A.
on a Form A. So if it had frontage, if it has frontage where the folks that were there on Fuller Shore, that had those lots had frontage. The court said they did. They took it to court. And it was allowed.
Well, what's unique about
No
Lakeville.
one gets a chance to, you can't
Can't say
tell
anything,
them
no.
that you have to drain them.
And that's one of my concerns. I brought it up many times in the past, but, you know, we have so much water traveling through this community. And when we get these big storms, we do see regional areas of flooding. And I do have concerns about culverts not being cleaned properly, and they're being privately maintained and so forth. And I think it's a recipe for disaster in the long run. Only because this community has so much water going through it, and we are looking at extended periods of more serious storms. So, given what happened here a few years ago with the flooding and so forth, I can only imagine, with many years of no maintenance on these culverts. Like Johnson Drive, my street where you pull in, and we're certainly not the worst in the area, but literally it becomes borderline impassable when we have a severe enough storm. And I can only imagine that there's other
And you have
towns.
culverts.
And we have culverts, but it's
And
being
Fuller
cleaned.
Shore, they don't have them because there aren't enough. This particular leak that we're talking about here, or not leak, but the flooding we're talking about here, there aren't any culverts on that road. There's only 3 houses on the road.
It's gotta be
You
worse
wouldn't-
over there because they're closer to the lake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, okay, the next one was you have to remember how you felt about solar, large-scale solar. The fellow from is a fellow coming from Cypress Creek Renewables. This is an industrial scale solar field. This is not like the little one that we just did.
Oh, that was a little one?
Where is
That was
this?
a very little one.
What would you
This is
consider
one-
industrial size?
300 acres.
Oh, and where is he proposing that?
Rocky,
Behind my house.
Where's that?
yeah.
Good thing you're almost done, huh?
Where's that?
Rocky.
Yeah.
That's between, between
Yeah.
Freetown and Howland, and Route 140.
But,
Okay.
Zink, there is
Well-
another aspect to this, I'm not trying to let the cat out of the bag, right? But there's another aspect that he's gonna bring forward.
Yep.
He
That,
wants it rezoned.
oh, not just rezoning,
Yeah.
but, possibly like, a mixed use. You know, so if he, brings that much solar in, he would also bring in, cluster zoning.
Yes.
But the question is, I guess you could keep on going, cause I kinda already know about this, but is the canopy of a solar, that's not open space.
No.
You can't like wander around underneath solar panels.
No, you
It's
can't, but there's an argument to be made that you're not,
building anything either.
you're not covering the ground. It's not like, you are in a sense, but you're not, because they're lifted, you know? So it's not like a pavement,
It's permeable.
yeah.
There are,
There's, you can,
because it would be a change in zoning, and this would be, in the open space thing, there's a bunch of conditions that can be, rather arbitrarily added to the thing. And on second thought, I mean, you actually could try to add a condition like that. I doubt that you'd get it through town meeting, but you could add a condition that said that solar was allowed, and because you're allowed to establish the percentage, that what you want to think about for that next meeting or the meeting after that, because this will take several meetings to do, is decide on an open space plan, what percentage do you want to be the houses should
I'll
be
be sitting on the other side of
compared to the other ones. This is not untypically, it would be a 40-60 split, but it could be 40-60 all the way to 40-60 either way. They're talking about, more than half could be the other use of open space rather than space that's somebody's yard or house or driveway.
There's a lot of
stuff like
ledge
that.
back there,
So
so-
That's what I was thinking.
That's the
A
sort
lot
of
of
number
ledge
that you
back
want
there.
to be able to think and argue about.
Will's land?
And that's a range you want to be in. I think
You
neither
think
one of them should.
40-60 in the, in favor of,
No, not in favor of either. It just that you'd never be less than 40 in either one, and you'd never be more than 60 in either one.
Oh, I see what you mean, so it never, yeah.
However, you're roughly talking about that amount of space
You
for a
don't think,
meatball number.
You don't think like a 55, 45,
Well, that works.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That specifically works.
Yep,
Anything, within 10% of half
oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
is,
Is considered
Yeah.
like,
We've had a lot of discussions about this because I came in as such a proponent
Yeah.
of this kind of development.
Yeah,
and
well, they're gonna start
live and
again.
learn, live and learn.
yeah,
you know?
they're gonna start again.
There's
And,
reasons why the town hasn't done it to date, and I think, I'm saying this more for those that may be watching at home, but there's reasons why it hasn't always made sense.
well, we don't have a zone for it right now.
Right.
The way I see it, is a builder, time is money. They don't wanna wait for they don't wanna, they wanna come in, see what we have, read it. Nope, not for me, and move on. They don't wanna take the time and have it written with us and wait for town meeting, which it could go either way.
This property's been out there for a while, so I'm thinking that they might take the time with the possibility of getting it developed.
Well, the density is enough to justify that.
I mean,
Right now, the
just
only
gonna have to
advantage
see.
that this cluster zoning has a lot of advantages for the people that live in Lakeville or that might move to Lakeville, or for people Lakeville, but it also has to have some advantage for the builder. And right now, the only advantage it has for the builder is that there's less road to build. And less pipes to put in
Yeah.
next to the road. While in Lakeville, we don't have many pipes to save on, so it's basically just a road cost.
Right.
And so if you're cutting somebody down from, our typical 1,000
1,000-foot road.
to a 600 feet of it,
Right.
it just isn't that big a difference compared to changing styles or changing markets.
If this
While
proposal,
they're
if
built.
this proposal comes forward, you're looking at a 2-to-1, where it's two advantages for the builder and one advantage to the town. A smaller road and an electric company, and the town gets its smaller footprint of homes. So.
Did I cover everything?
Yep.
Okay. Well, so that's actually quite a bit at the next meeting.
Yeah,
So-
I won't be here, but
So we'll have to-
because
Is this your
Carrie-
last meeting?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, this is my last meeting.
So
And then Mark-
so it's on record to thank Ms. Swanson for being here for 5 years. It's a lot of work, it is.
Yes.
And,
Thank you, Peter.
all the meetings, it never ends.
No, it doesn't. This is a difficult board to be on because there's so much that comes before us. And I think everybody here too has been great, and I enjoyed working with you, but I need to move on. I need to cut down some of my schedule.
There you go.
Lately, yeah. So, I'm gonna stay on the ZBA for a while.
Thank you.
It looks like they'll be busy for a while.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Be good to have Mark's input too, I think. Changing up and getting different views is always good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I might be sitting over there when you're doing this.
Please do.
Asking you questions, Peter.
Go right
Do I
ahead.
need to start signing this, I think? Did you want us to sign? I'll sign
Can we-
on line 3.
Oh, we have to, yeah, we have
Can
to
we
sign all these. Okay.
Close the meeting and then sign?
Yes. Any other business? Does anyone have any other business they want to bring up? Okay, would like a
Motion to
a
adjourn.
motion. Second. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.